Hey guys, Link here. Wanted to give my day 4 update on what I've been working on. Made a lot of changes just to my workflow in order to just improve it. A lot of small details, basically. The first thing you'll probably notice is that I've removed the header, the navigation system, and I moved it to a sidebar. The reason is that I've been adding more and more things, and I've realized that having a header is kind of just outdated, and it's pretty hard to just navigate things. And having it on a sidebar is just a lot cleaner and things like that. Also, when you're on the mobile too, you're able to bring it out, and you can hide the sidebar, whereas and navigate so much quicker versus having to scroll to the top, which gets pretty annoying. Some other things I made that are like minor, but it's like logo changes, added some social media. All right, let's get into the things that have been the more bigger changes. So in yesterday's video, I was talking about how I created a supabase database, and then I migrated all my basically data from, not all my data, but some of my data that I'm storing from Obsidian. So Obsidian used to be my local database, but for certain things, it became kind of annoying because I wanted a two-way sync. In other words, like on my phone, I wanted to be able to add things, and then if I'm on my phone, having to sync into Obsidian can get kind of annoying. So instead of dealing with that, I moved it to a database platform so that I'm able to just update from my phone. Turns out with workouts as well, what I was using previously before was I was using this app which has a pretty nice front end. So you're able to create routines and things like this. So you can just do like that, and then you can add in like these things or these exercises that have been like kind of pre-created, or you can create your own custom exercises, and then it generates kind of this like nice like front end that you're able to use. My initial implementation was that I was just going to use the third-party API that they expose, but turns out this site is also kind of just like, I want to say like jankily made, but they're not really putting too much development time into the API itself. So having to interact with that, I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to create my own workout app, and that's basically what I did here. One thing you can notice is that I failed to fetch workouts. So one thing the feature I added to my website is user auth. So now I'm able to add log in, and then now I'm able to load the workouts that are customized for me. So technically this site right now isn't meant to scale, or it's not even meant for other people. But in the future, if I want to, I need to make sure that all my database schemas are able to support a user ID or an auth session, basically. So these are saved directly into my my table, and so you can see the table list here. And so this is the supabase data, or the SQL tables. You can see this is the workout database. Here's the table itself. Here's the UUID with the login, and then just a couple of other things that has my data, and then here are the exercises that are being saved in. So now I can just pretty much create my own SQL tables pretty easily. I don't have to know the language itself directly, because I can just ask AI to create it for me. But having a knowledge of like what you should be doing is very helpful. So I could build out my queries myself, but AI is just speeding up the whole process, and I can just type, like, give it a phrase, and then it'll do it for me. You just have to make sure that you really have to plan and think properly ahead in advance to make sure that your tables are lined up properly and synced with the other tables. So you still do need some like knowledge and foresight. That's why it's really important. I've been spending much more time planning and thinking, and almost like diagramming and visualizing how my data is going to be stored, dealt with, and how just like my apps are going to be created, what functionalities I'm going to add in, just to avoid having to create redundancies, because AI isn't very good at that. It'll just try to do best with the way it thinks right now. It just thinks like one step ahead right now, and that's not good enough. You want it to think like 20 steps ahead, right? And the only way you can get AI to think that way is to really just give it the 20 steps ahead of time. So that's something to think about when you're quote unquote vibe coding. So you can even see here how you can just create a new workout. It's pretty much similar to the hevy website that I showed you earlier. So you can just do like pull, and then you can add your own exercises and be like, I want to do a pull up. You can add your own sets. So very similar to what was seen before. You gotta understand that Hevy is like, this app is, it's very popular on the App Store. I think like people like you can buy like a one-time. It is free, but you can it has like 35K ratings. There's a one-time purchase of $50, and like now you don't have to pay for this anymore. Just like you can just build it by yourself. I literally built this in like an hour. And the best part is it's all customizable. I can change it, my UI, the things that I need, the things that I don't need. It's very powerful. So like here I can just start a timer. It's a very basic timer, but it gets the job done, right? When you're working out, you don't really care about the visuals. You don't really care about the UI as much, I think. At least like personally for me. So the things that I really needed are basically just a weekly schedule of what today's workout is going to be. I'm going to be adding more functionality to this, like creating a list of exercises that I want to or that I need to, and then maybe just clean up the UI a little bit so that it's a bit more visual or like visually pleasing than this one. So pretty much like all my workout flows like is coming together. I'm able to track all my data from nutrition calorie tracking. So like this is just dynamically updating. I can just add it. I can add in my entries through here, and I can just edit it if I need to. The edit also has just like add meals. Still thinking about better ways and easier ways to do this, but those implementations will come later. So those are the two things. The third one I did was I created an important date app or date page. I briefly mentioned this before, but having to track all your data and all these numbers, there's as you grow and as you accumulate more wealth, you also tend to like consume or you tend to add more things to, I guess, like your brain, right? A very good example is how like the subscription model works and how the credit card model works. They're built to be very all over the place, such that you kind of forget that they exist, right? Or sometimes you just forget. You might know that they exist, but then it doesn't come up in your brain. So what ends up happening is that you'll probably end up just paying more and more money than compared to the amount that you actually consume. So having these type of like things where like businesses and corporations are taking advantage of that, right? They're creating subscription models on purpose because they know like, more people on average are gonna forget that they had a subscription, and then that means that it's more money for them, right? And you gotta understand like most subscription models, like they might be making API calls, and from a business and corporate perspective, each API call is technically money that they have to spend, right? Maybe they're using a different service. Maybe they have to make an API call to a third-party library, which charges them like 10 cents per like every 1,000 API calls, right? And that's the whole reason. This is like the type of game that you have to understand that's being played on a bigger picture, on a more corporate and business level. So for myself, in order to solve this solution or this problem of being unable to keep track of things, is just having this sort of like page where I'm able to just like have a very good view of like what's showing and stuff like that. So if you look in my Obsidian, I'm storing this data in particularly on my Obsidian locally rather than pushing it up to supabase. This might change later, right? Of course, depending on if I'm going to scale. Not sure exactly where I want to go with that. But for now, the data that I'm storing it in, and it's basically like a JSON format, but it's just, it's like in text view. All the tools are built out in the app itself. So like within here, there's probably, let me see if I can find it. So like important dates. So like I have an important date service, which is, it's going through into my Obsidian. Let me see, I think it's through here, important dates. So here's a function called like get all Obsidian files. There's different, basically there's different queries that's occurring. So when I go to like this page, then it'll call that function, which basically is just telling it to read this markdown file, grab the necessary data, it parses it, and then it renders it onto my front end in a very nice and neat format, right? So before, like you would, when you're on Notion, you can technically create these things and then like visually like there's like already pre-built, I guess like diagrams and like dashboards that you can create for yourself. But with code, code is much more powerful. You can literally just customize it in the way that you want. And with AI, you don't even have to really think about the CSS and things like that. You just can give it a picture and then it'll just replicate it, right? You can use words. Words are a lot easier to communicate like what you want it to do. So this is just an example of kind of what I've been like what I've added. So I'm able to see all my monthly fees, my annual fees, things like that. Previously, you would probably need like, you can use a budgeting app or a finance app, which you probably need to pay money. Because I know before like there's an app called Rocket Money, which would you would import your Chase or like your credit card information, and then from there they would parse through all your logs and then create a like, oh, these are your monthly subscriptions, right? But like, yes, you can go down that route, and yes, you can pay more money, or you can go down this route, and then now you just have like your own system set up for yourself. You don't have to go into that financial app anymore, and now you can just view it all in one place. Other things that I felt was like kind of important was birthdays. I have a really large friend group, so I'm going to be planning to add, expand this a lot more. But birthdays are just like a good way to just like have a good sense of idea of like what social events are coming up, especially with people with a lot of friends or things like that. The other thing I wanted to add was events. So these are just like major events that are coming up for myself that I need to like keep track of. Again, very bare functionality, but it's very powerful, I think. So that's pretty much the main gist of those things. The other thing I did was I cleaned up my Obsidian folder, so I basically like made it more colorful. But I can add more plugins and things like that just to speed up the process of being able to navigate. It's really important to be able to navigate your folders as it grows, right? Like this vault is huge now, and it's only been a couple of days, but like this was my previous vault, which has all this information. Being able to just go through them and have it organized again, really, really necessary. The next thing I want to work on, and that'll probably be my focus on today, is probably going to be the dashboard page. So now that I've built all these individual apps and I'm able to collect data in a good way, I want to be able to, again, just like how I'm able to view the importance date, like a dashboard like this, but I want to do it for everything else. So from my schedule, from my to-dos, from my goals, from my habit tracker to maybe I might even just pull some of these like these cards and just put them all here, just all in one place where I can just view them. So that'll be the things I'll be working on. If you like the video, please like it, or please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. If there's anything that you guys would like to see more of, let me know. There's a lot of ideas that I want to do, some stuff about just like live coding or live making, building, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably do that. And then some other things are maybe like tutorials and stuff. Before I go, I do want to say that most of this is the software engineering role itself has changed completely, I think. Now you will see it's more of a software engineering technical manager or technical program manager and a product manager. It's like you're all three at once. And then in some sense, if you're building your own app, then you're also a DevOps engineer too, because you have to figure out stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.